Welcome back to another edition of me coaching Firefox. This time we're watching Firefox play Hades versus Loki on a new map called Step. This is part of the new Immortal Pillars DLC. As you can see, it's a big, wide open map. So, off the bat, I should say this is not a map that favors Hades gameplay. Um, Also, no balls of Erebus from Firefox. It's like the first thing I see. I would love to see balls of Erebus. But yeah, I commend Firefox for picking Hades on a map like this. Usually, you want to pick Hades on maps like Alfheim or Blue Lagoon. Any map where it's sort of closed and you can place your Toxotes in between forests and cliffs and stuff like that. But you know, if you're fighting out here, where are you going to place your Toxotes? There's nowhere for them to fight. And on your secondary town centers as well, it's just big, wide open spaces. So generally, playing Hades, you wanna have small corridors, lots of forests, lots of cliffs, and not these big, wide open spaces. And then, yeah, second thing, I personally really prefer using the Vaults of Erebus build, where you herd the animals into the town center. You save the 50 wood on the granary, and that allows you to get the Vaults of Erebus faster, which gives you a faster trickle of gold, which means that you'll get a faster secondary town center, which means that you're going to have more villagers out early on. So you see the snowball effect? Saving 50 wood doesn't sound like much, but it all adds up when you think about it, like I mentioned here. Other than that, it does look like Firefox is executing the build quite well with the granary. I'm actually interested in seeing when the Balls of Erebus will be up. I'm pretty sure it's like 210 is when I can click it if I do the non-granary build. So we'll see when Firefox does it here. Should also talk about the Hades versus Loki matchup. So a lot of people actually struggles with this, and I think the primary reason they struggle is because the Norse player is going to get a big mass of units, and they're going to be able to raid, they're going to be able to win a lot of small skirmishes, and then when they get to the heroic age, they're going to run over the Greek player with flaming weapons. And that's true. That's really effective. Actually, let's see, Balls of Erebus. Actually quite early Balls of Erebus. Not too many lost resources here. Yeah, but as this game progresses, I'm going to be explaining how to counter that sort of Norse gameplay when you're playing as Hades. And as Hades versus Norse, I think it's up to you if you want to stay on one town center or if you want to go for two town centers. It all depends on the map. And this map is really big. It takes a long while to go from one. It takes a decent amount of time to go from one end to the other. But you look at this secondary town center, there's just forests here, nothing else. This gold mine is decent, but not great. Over here, this is a great town center. There's deer, and there's a gold mine. Once again, not great, but it's decent. This one is quite good. So that's what I would suggest. Go for a 2 TC boom here, and then you get to hunt all of these gazelle. And another thing that you always have to consider when you're playing Hades is when you have the Balls of Erebus constantly giving you that free gold. That also means that this first gold mine is going to be depleted a lot later. And I mean that it's a lot later. It's usually like 5 or 6 minutes later than it would otherwise be. It's a very... Balls of Erebus is good because it boosts your economy. But another reason it's really good is because you need to move out for your secondary gold mine a lot later than other civs. And versus Norse, who often relies on getting map control and denying resources on the map, this is huge. Being able to still mine gold from your home base and not having to swap to your second gold mine very quickly. So it does look like Firefox is going for what's going to be like a 430 advance. A bit of idle time on the TC, unfortunately. Like this, I'm pretty sure this build order could be off. Oh my god, no, don't go for this. So he's got his gold miners on this gold mine, Firefox, and obviously this town center is a lot closer than this one. But look at the two town centers. Like I said, there's forests here and kind of a gold mine, but nothing else. Whereas up here, you get 11 gazelles. That's 2,000. Wait, no. It's 1,650 food. Plus, there's still forest, and the gold mine here is just as good, and there's even this gold mine here as well. This town center sucks. If you're going for a 2 TC boom, and this town center doesn't give you much of anything, it's very easy to fall behind a Loki player. So definitely a big mistake here, going for this town center here. Loki player, meanwhile, is just grabbing relics, it seems. He's got a Great Hall up. We'll see what he decides to go for. He's got the resources for a town center if he wants to. Right now, he doesn't quite know if there's a town center being taken. He's not used spy on the Greek gold miners. If you're playing Loki, you should always spy the gold miners, if you ask me. Because then you will know if they're going for a 2 TC boom or not. Either way, Firefox has gone for this TC. He's now over onto this pack of deer and trying to wall up. That's pretty nice. This wall is really good if you can secure it, but it's hard to secure it, right? A mobile Loki army with all of Thane's hearses and raiding cavalry will be able to take down this wall. There's nothing protecting them. There's no towers, no sentinels, no town center. It's a bit out in the open, you know. But yeah, this pack of deer here is, or gazelle, is quite nice. But if Sorry notices it with his army, he should be able to punish Firefox from going here quite easily. Sorry going for the secondary town center instead, though. So, bit of a... not too much happening here. This is a great town center for Sorry. Very similar to the one up here, with the gazelles. Very nice and protected. I think Firefox is doing the right thing here. Just sitting here and defending himself. You could maybe argue that if he played it super aggressively, he could maybe deny this TC, but it's a big risk and it's not worth it. Kind of looking like Firefox is gonna get away with picking the inferior town center here. So, in my mind, what's gonna happen here is that the Loki player is gonna be booming. You see, he's down 8 villagers, but he's gonna catch up as soon as the second town center comes online. And Norse economy is quite good compared to the Greek. So even though Loki is down 8 villagers, it's not a disaster for him. Because now the second TC is up and he is starting to make villas himself. The Loki player has the map control. He's not gonna be pushed off of hunt anytime soon. You see him over here on the boars. Whereas Firefox, he's sort of retreating into his base. He's getting chicken. He's gonna go for... he's already taken the berries, I think. Maybe there were... yeah, he's already taken the berries. So while the Loki player has been hunting, Firefox has gone for berries and chicken. So he's kind of falling behind on that end. So even though he's ahead by more... he's got more villagers, these 9 villagers are quite inferior to these villagers. Although, it's kind of crazy. 0.99 per second on the chicken because they have herdables. So they get plus 10% gather rate on the herdables. They're actually gathering faster than the Norse gatherer here on hunt. Either way, the berries are very slow. So there is that. And you see here, Sorry taking control of this gold mine here. Very smart gold mine. Utilizing these 2 wood lines perfectly to deny this gold mine. And what this means is that Sorry can now focus all of his attention on this side here. He doesn't have to worry about Firefox getting this gold mine or this gold mine. Ooh, and a really big mistake here, if you ask me, is Firefox is going for Aphrodite. I really much prefer Underworld Passage in the Hades versus Norse matchup. And the big reason for that is because you get Underworld Passage through Apollo, and it gives so much utility having Underworld Passage at your disposal, whereas Curse basically just allows you to kill 750 resources worth of enemy units. It's really not much, and I think we'll just let the game progress here, and at some point I'm gonna say, imagine Underworld Passage here. I'm gonna focus my inner Boyd. I'm gonna say Underworld Passage rather than Forest Fire. We do see here Firefox being pushed off of this hunt. If it was up here, that would not be the case. Also, he wouldn't have to invest into this wall. But yeah. He actually did manage to hunt quite a bit of these gazelles, so that's good on Firefox. The unit comp that Firefox is going for here with Toxotes, and he's setting up for hoplites as well. Aegis Shield, you could argue this is kind of not needed versus Norse, because they deal predominantly hack damage. I think only trolls, when you're playing versus Loki, is gonna be pierce damage, so... Bit of a meme upgrade, 150 wood, 15 favor, kind of just throwing that away out there. But Cereza, definitely good, and I do think Hoplites Toxotes is a good unit comp to go for. Okay, so Sorry actually scouting this third town center, trying to be taken here from Mr. Sorry. And you know, even now, imagine Underworld Passage. Probably not going to use it now, wait for it to be halfway built or even more, and then you can deny it, plus you can kill a few hearses as well. Whereas Curse is just sitting there, it's not being used for anything. Another way that you can use Underworld Passage right now would be up on this gold mine, and I haven't seen the map, but I'm almost certain there's going to be dwarves there. 9 dwarves right here. So what you could do is you could place Underworld Passage there and over here, and then you would be able to kill off at least like 3-4 dwarves, sometimes even more. You can even push these guys off of Hunt if you were fast, right? You're going to push them off of Hunt up here instead. If you have a Pegasus, you scout this. Immense value from that Underworld Passage if you did that. And then what you want to do is you want to just sit on the Underworld Passage and try to goal control the Loki player. Or you can even just sit on your you'll have a really big villager lead if you did that, and then you don't have to do anything. And then whenever the Loki player does something, you'll always have your army on either this side with the Underworld Passage or back home with the Underworld Passage. And as soon as they click Flaming Weapons, you just pop into the Underworld Passage and you say, I'm not gonna find you. I'm not gonna fight you. And the villagers here would be right next to this gold mine, so they would jump through here, over there, and even though Flaming Weapons is used, they still get to mine, but just on this side instead. So I really, really value Underworld Passage. It's such a good god power versus Norse. And right now, Sorry actually managed to get this third TC up, and Firefox instead is now... I don't know, I guess he's kind of scrambling for something to do now. He realizes since Sorry spent resources on this third town center, he says, I kind of have to make something happen now. And so he's investing into a fortress and 3 Petropolis. For reference, fortress 600 resources, Petropolis 350 times 3, so that is 1,050 resources. 1,650 resources spent on this fortress and the 3 Petropolis. It's very expensive what Firefox is setting up here. And what Sorry is going to do is he's just going to make a lot of production over here. He's going to make a lot of units. And eventually he'll have a bigger army than Firefox. And then he's going to cast Flaming Weapons. And there's not much Firefox can do about it. He does not have Underworld Passage at his disposal. Curse will be nice to just take care of a few units. But with 3 town centers, you see Sorry, he's got more villagers than Firefox now. With a big, amazing economy behind him, he's going to be able to replenish his army very fast during Flaming Weapons. There's even hell coming in. There's even hell coming in for Sorry. And this is so hard for Firefox to deal with. This is actually the big thing. Firefox invested 1,650 resources on this beach here. And that means that he cannot go Mythic Age now. When he cannot go Mythic Age, he does not have access to Perseus, so he only has 3 heroes to take care of everything Loki has to offer. And he does not get Earthquake back home, which would be sick to take down houses, temple, Great Hall, towers, all of that. So it's kind of looking like Firefox is doing a good job here, but I imagine once this Nidhogg comes out, 73 favor in bank for Sorry. I imagine Firefox is going to have a very, very hard time against the myth units. We're gonna see, though, fortified TC coming in from Firefox as well. He's gonna have a lot of population, so that's really good. If he can fill up his population with Toxotes, that's super rough for Loki to deal with. And that is exactly what he's trying to do, even adding in Hippasus and Hoplite. It's beautiful. Hell is now in for Sorry. He's getting there with his army, using Nidhogg preemptively, or sort of at least before the big fight. I don't know why. Maybe he just doesn't want to place the Nidhogg. I think you should generally just wait with your Nidhogg, but whatever. Here's the big fight. Flaming weapons used, and I don't know. I can say that I said I was gonna say this throughout the game. Imagine Underworld Passage here. Use it right here, and then you have a Pegasus up here. You kill 5 villagers here. You kill 9 villagers there. All of these villages will be idle, and your Petropolis are going to siege down this town center, and all the damage dealt right here will be to take down the town center. And these 3 villages, they can go up here. They can even build this town center, you know. Underworld Passage is your friend versus Norse, fellas. You gotta go for the Underworld Passage. The times when you go Aphrodite, as Hades versus Thor or Loki in particular, I think they're very limited. I really think so. This curse has been sitting idle this entire game and has not accomplished anything. Here it is. See, I want to see how many pigs are here. 7 pigs. So he kills 7 units with curse. But just consider how much better it would be to have Underworld Passage. Restoration is in. Oof. That Nidhogg. So strong sometimes. Bogging out a bit here. Sorry, not using his favor. Hello? He could get like, I don't know how many fire giants out already, but he's not doing it. He has the resources for it. Nidhogg dealing a lot of damage here, taking down the Petropolis, taking down a lot of the Toxotes as well, but now it is falling to the Chiron as well as the Ajax. Look at the favor in the bank of Sorry. I don't know what he's thinking here. Why does he not? He could get the Rampage upgrade for the instant Fire Giant training, and he could honestly have all the Fire Giants out right now. Had he done that in conjunction with the Nidhogg attack, there's no way that Firefox would have been able to defend it that easily. Either way, Sorry is definitely not out of this. He's gotten himself champion line infantry now for the infantry. Very, very good upgrade. He's getting the hill forts as well. He's lost 2 to the Petropolis, so good on Firefox for taking those down. But the reason he wants to get these back up is because he wants Huskarls now. Huskarl's going to be very effective against the Toxotes now. But yeah, guys, the big takeaway from this game, Underworld Passage. Underworld Passage. I think after this game, I can show you a game or 2 where I utilize Underworld Passage in a smart manner. I think I'm gonna add that to the post-production, hopefully. Just so you guys can see the potency of that god power. But right now, Firefox is doing a noble effort here of trying to pressure Sorry, but there's 3 hill forts here. Throwing X-Men, champion throwing X-Men, champion Huskarls here. Finally, we see Artemis in. Nope. I mean, you should really have a Pegasus here. As soon as you hit Artemis, there's no excuse for not having a Pegasus right here. Use Earthquake on this spot or so. Take down the TC. Take down a lot of houses. It's going to be very hard to deal with. This is a menacing Loki army, though. So even though Firefox does hit Mythic, he's struggling to get champion infantry and champion archers, and that's really bad. He gets Shafts of Plague at the very least. It's a huge upgrade. Makes your archers much more effective. But you really gotta get these 2 down as well. Interestingly, like, it's 225 population versus 190. Firefox does have 3 town centers versus 2, so he's he's in the game still. He still got Earthquake at his disposal, but Zor is being smart here. He's spamming out Hill Forts, knowing that Firefox will have a hard time dealing with them. Masons is there, giving plus 15% hit points and minus vulnerability to crush. That means that it's gonna be easier for them to sustain the Earthquake damage. I don't know if they're gonna stay alive. I think they are. That's near spawn. In for Sorry. Another restoration from Firefox. This is a big fight. This is like a game-deciding fight occurring right here. Finally, we see that Rampage coming in. 2 Fire Giants spawned immediately, and there can be even more now for Sorry if he's up to it. 4 Hill Forts shooting at Firefox right now. He's got the really good late-game Greek army. But you're versus 4 Hill Forts. There's 4 Fire Giants here now, and the only heroes you have is Chiron. There's a Valkyrie in the mix as well. And now it's just too hard for the Hades player. You're just falling behind. You're not finding any wins anymore. The Loki player should also get the upgrade for the Fire Giants. Where they get a cute head. I don't remember what it's called, but it's really good. Costs 600 wood and 30 favor, but you see his economy. He can afford it. This one. Grey Knight Blood. Plus 40% hit point for Fire Giants. They're gonna be even harder to deal with. Perseus here. Really good unit. But there's so many throwing X-Men and even Hostiles to deal with the Perseus, so it goes down rather quickly, unfortunately. Achilles is in as well, but Ballistas are now targeting down Achilles. You see how good these heroes are at taking down these Fire Giants. You really need the head for them. 600 HP, 840 HP. That 240 HP and the head really makes a big difference. But yeah, you guys looking for a good late game Loki composition, look at this. Throwing X-Men, Ballistas, Fire Giant. And Fafnir, I guess. This is a great comp. It's very hard for the Greek to deal with this because their the Greek player's primary focus right here is to take down Fire Giants. But with Ballistas and throwing X-Men here, they can easily target down those heroes, and then basically the Fire Giants are going to take care of the rest. The idea behind it. And for Firefox here, Helltask definitely a good call. Can take down the throwing X-Men from long range. Helepolis, I'm not too sure. They're very fragile to the Fire Giants. Annoying walls up here from Sorry. Really annoying. Oh, this is a death ball comp. This is a death ball comp. I think Hades, if he's in a super good spot with really good economy and equal resources, equal upgrades to the Loki player, he can get away with, he can actually beat this just by out-spamming the Loki player. But right now, when you're on the back foot as Hades and you're against this death ball comp, it's just too much. When you're in this situation, it's really hard to win, so you gotta win before this happens. The heroes just continually targeted down. No ballistics in just yet. Fire Giant spawn here. Yeah, I think Firefox is gonna have to call it very soon. Sorry takes the W. It's a good effort from Firefox. I will say, grab this town center up here. Go for the Vault of Erebus build, probably. I don't know if that was the deciding factor, but just something to consider. But definitely go for this town center up here so that you can hunt here without having to invest into walls and without having to always have your army in this spot. It gives you more freedom when you're hunting from a safe location like this. And then the big one was go for Apollo. Really utilize that Underworld Passage. Yeah, that's probably the big things. I'm gonna show you guys now how I use Underworld Passage in some of my games, so stay tuned. All right, we're getting into we're starting in medias res here. I'm playing Hades, Recon is playing Loki on Oasis, and we've just been fighting a bit back and forth on one town centers, both of us. Right now, I'm about to hit Apollo, and I still have Restoration at my disposal. And what I'm gonna do now is, as you can see, look at Recon's map down on the minimap. I have 2 gold mines of his that I care about. So I'm setting it up so that I can gold control him with Underworld Passage. I've got the Pegasus here, and I'm gonna use it right now, like this. This is what I was talking about in the game earlier with Firefox. Use Underworld Passage like this. This was actually in a very old version of the game. It's been like a month or 2. And back then the attack move didn't quite work as well as it does now. You saw there was a bit of a small bug there. But either way, I force his dwarves to be idle right there. I take a big fight there. I don't even use Restoration. I think I should have used Restoration there. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I can still win. This has been a while since I watched this game myself. I just remember I kept this video, and I guess now is when I'm going to reveal it. I win this fight even without using Restoration. Big mistake not to use Restoration, to be honest. But while that was happening, I push Recon off of Hunt as well. So now, not only has his dwarves been idle for a long while, his hunters have been idle for a long while as well. And I'm continuing the pressure here. And you see the setup I've got for myself right now. I've got the military advantage. I have Restoration available, and my Underworld Passage is on the only 2 gold mines that Recon can mine from. And this is just such a nice position for me to be in. There is simply no way for Recon to escape his base now. Actually, what am I saying? I've been 1 TC the whole time, up until now, right? I only built the 2nd TC now. Sorry guys, haven't watched this game in a long while. I think actually I was 1 TC and he was 2 town centers. That's why I was able to win that fight as convincingly as I was, because I was in third age. But, so actually the state of play here is that Recon has got a better economy on paper, but I've got Underworld Passage and I've got the better army. And look at him. He's got a better economy. And yeah, what does it matter? He's got more villages than I do, but he does not have access to a gold mine. He doesn't even have access to his hunt, as you can see, either. And I have access to Hephaestus as well, because I'm heroic age, so that's really nice. And look how I use the Underworld Passage here. I think it's a very smart use of Underworld Passage. Hate to pat myself on the back like this, but it's something I think is really effective versus Norse. And yeah, excuse me about what I said earlier on. This is obviously me on 1 town center, Recon on 2, and that's how I was able to win that big fight, despite not even using Restoration. It's because I'm on 1 TC and he's on 2. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll see if I can scroll forward a bit here. The game is just Recon. He doesn't have access to a gold mine. Right now, I'm pretty sure that he's selling food and wood at the market, trying to levy a comeback. But you see here, I've got Minotaur there, I've got the Manticore, I've got the heavy infantry as well. Starting to set up farms, everything is going really well for me. I'm pretty sure I'm still down in villagers, despite having killed all these vills. But Recon is just big struggling for gold. He just converted like 8 villages to berserks there. But my unit composition is pretty much Hephaestus and Toxotes, and what that means is that Recon cannot deal with my myth units. So they're wreaking havoc here. And I can even grab a 3rd TC here, I can look to go mythic, it doesn't matter what I do. Probably what I should do is just spam even more units, get more production buildings down, keep spamming units, because what I really want to do here is just keep securing the gold position. But yeah, this is the power of Underworld Passage. See it right here. Setting up a fortress, getting a wall there, getting a 2nd wall. GG is called. Very cool, very cool. I think I can show you one more game, we'll see. Alright, this is a legendary game. It's a legendary Age of Mythology retold game. John Arbiter, famous for really inventing the Cyclops Underworld strategy. And everyone was everyone tends to laugh about John Arbiter because he's not a top player. But this strategy that he invented here, or that he at the very least popularized, I saw a lot of potential in it. So in a really big tournament game, I did this once again versus Recon. I'm not here to shame on Recon. I don't know how I ended up having 2 games versus him here, but once again, we're 10 minutes into the game. This is about the time when the Loki player wants to go for his secondary gold mine. And look at my army. It's full Toxotes and Cyclops. And I catch his dwarves going from one gold mine to the other. And I just cast Underworld on him. Stop the dwarves in their tracks. Now he does not have access to any gold. I cast Pestilence on his hometown center. And look at my army here. Pure Toxotes and Cyclops. The towers are not functioning. His production is 25% speed, so really slow compared to what it should usually be. And I'm just taking down his town center, killing villagers. And Loki has a very hard time dealing with this particular comp. His only answer is Hearses or Goaties if he's Heroic Age. If he's building a lot of Hearses, you build Toxotes. If he's building a lot of Goaties, you build Peltas. And you see how effective this strategy is here versus Recon. Just another example of how Underworld Passage is amazing in this particular matchup. And honestly, the game is already won from here, but Recon doesn't give up, so the game drags on. But I'm just gonna pass forward a bit here. In the end, you see the score now. My economy is so much better than his. He's doing a noble effort trying to get this TC up, but I've still got more Cyclops. Taking down a lot of the Goaties here. Like, you see what he's trying. Trolls and Goatie, that's his answer. But my Toxotes are very good against the Goaties, and my heroes are great against the Trolls, needless to say. And Recon calls it here. So, the big one is use Underworld Passage when you're versus Norse. It's amazing. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.